This is the Drop the Clutch podcast, a fan-run podcast full of guests, controversy, and opinions about the sport we love that sometimes drives us insane. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 22 of Drop the Clutch. I'm joined with Nick today. Basically, we're just going to give you a bit of an update on our situation whilst we wait for our guest to call in. Nick, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good. Loving the weather at the minute. Working like a dog on the weekends, but, you know, living life, as they say.
Fair enough.
And yourself?
Yeah, got to say, the weather's it's all right now, but over the weekend, I think it's going to be a bit too hot for my liking. 28 degrees. But, yeah, other than that, I think everything's as good as it can be, to be honest. But
fair enough.
That's it with us. As you will have noticed by the statement we put out on our Facebook page last week, we've had Dan and Dylan leave to pursue other opportunities. And of course, whatever they do now, we wish them the best and all that. And yeah, my sister's joined. She was going to join us tonight, but she's been at work today. So,
oh, bless her.
You're working at Costa again. But yeah, my Eve joined us now full time, and we might have a periodic guest co-host if one of us is unavailable, and that's basically where we're at, isn't it?
Yes. You know, there's not really a great deal much more to add to that.
Nope. That's it. That's it with us.
We're here doing our thing. They're off doing whatever it is they're doing now, and all the best to them.
Just to reiterate, is that we put in the statement, for the time being, we're going back to new episodes every 2 weeks, just so it's less pressure because there's now only 3 of us. So the next episode will be out on the 16th of June, which is this time next week.
Yeah, my work's picked up as well with it being summer, so it's a bit harder to squeeze episodes out as well.
Yeah, and I've got a bit of uncertainty regarding my job and stuff in my personal life at the moment, so it's just easier for us, and it means we can put the best content out for everybody that listens to the podcast
or watches.
Yeah, I forget it goes out on YouTube as well. But yeah, that's the way forward, and if it picks up or we're less busy, we might check out an extra episode every now and again, but for the time being, it's every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Right, so now the boring stuff's out of the way with. What do we think to Mr. Laguta coming over?
Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. Yeah.
There's the British Premiership just taken the next level, has it?
I know. 2021 World Champion riding in the UK. How good is that?
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully this is like the start of things to come, as they say.
Hopefully, because the sport over is in a bit of a mess at the moment. So hopefully this is the change that brings some positive things about rather than the constant negatives that surround sport in the country.
We've got Emil over here now. We've got Doyley back. Bewley's come back. Obviously, Laguta. Frick's not really left, has he? He's been here over here for about 4 or 5 years now. You know, we've got Jack Holder up at Sheffield.
And him. Yes.
Yeah.
He's doing well at the moment in the Grand Prix. He's 3rd overall in the standings.
And in my opinion, been cheated out of 2 wins, but you know, that's another story for a different night.
Let's not so much controversy regarding those.
Well, everyone said it, didn't they? Especially the Polish GP. They're all saying
yes.
The ref bottled it because where it was and who it was.
Yeah.
You know, just my 2 cents on that and all.
Yeah, it's mine as well. The ref obviously didn't have the gumption to exclude the rider that was actually at fault rather than the rider that wasn't at fault.
And had been at fault a couple of times that night as well.
I didn't watch that one. So
yeah, he caused and was involved in a couple of instances throughout the night, but Speedway for you, you know.
True. Should we have a bit of a conversation about how our respective teams are going at the moment? Should we start with Bellevue and then end?
I was going to say, do you want to cry live on YouTube?
Oh, yeah. Well, everything's just gone wrong for Birmingham so far, and I'll leave it at that. Apparently, there's team changes coming, so I've been told, and they'll be in place for the away match at Oxford next week. So if that's the case, we'll wait and see. But I was brutally honest last night, well, Wednesday night, and I said the whole team needs sacking, really, apart from Alfie and James Pearson, because they're the only two that seem to be actually putting the effort in.
Who have you got at Brum these days?
Huh?
Who have you got at Brum these days?
Nick Morris is number one, although he's not exactly been a number one so far this year.
Right.
Justin Sedgman at 5. Stefan Nilsson, who's out injured. James Wright, who's also out injured. Dan Thompson, who's out with concussion. Joe Thompson. James Pearson.
So you basically got
3 riders out with injuries.
Yeah, you got half a team out effectively, haven't you? Well, you're shy, but yeah. So it stands to reason that the results aren't doing as good as they should if you're using guests in RR.
What peeves me more is that Nick Morris and Justin Sedgman are doing better for their Premiership club than they are for us. Because I was watching the meeting on BSN last night, and they were doing loads better, and it makes me think: are they being paid more at Leicester, so there's more incentive to do better than in comparison at Brom? Because Justin Sedgman has been useless around Perry Bar so far this year.
I'd say they were getting paid more only because obviously the difference in Premiership to Championship, you know, obviously there's a lot of Premiership riders in the Championship, but you've not got, you've not got your Lagutas, you've not got your Bewleys riding in the Championship, have you?
True. Can you imagine if they were riding in the Championship?
No, I don't want to.
Is Dan Bewley available for a guest booking? No.
No, I think Lemo would have that well blocked off. It's bad enough he has to ride in Poland. You're not having him in the Championship as well.
He rides Sweden as well, doesn't he, Dan Bewley? He's riding,
I believe he does 3 leagues,
Poland, Sweden and the UK this year. Busy boy.
I believe so. But that's what a lot of the top flight riders do, though, isn't it?
True.
It's like James was saying in the episode you did with him, he rode 1 league last season, riding 3 this year. It's doing him the world of good because it's time at the tapes, it's bum and seat, it's steel shoe on the shale.
Definitely. You can tell as well because he's getting some good scores bar Wednesday, but you could tell it wasn't like it was the bike rather than his lack of effort on Wednesday.
Oh, I believe that. But you look at his scores, you know, when they post them up online for Lesno, for the Colts and for the Brummies normally, and he's 8-9 pointer on average, isn't he?
Yeah, he's getting his average. Yeah, which is what he wants. We just want to get him to get slightly above it, maybe. But the way it's gone up tonight and using rider replacement for Stefan Nilsson, and then they got Zach Cook in as a guest. So I don't think we'll take anything away from that. So
no,
I'm not bothering to go.
Fair enough. It is what it is in that respect, isn't it? If you're not going to go and watch your team get absolutely hammered, are you?
No. What's your opinion on how Bellevue have been doing then?
Honestly, I can't fault them. Somebody said earlier on Facebook, last year's team were unstoppable and seemed to have a good atmosphere. This year's are above them. You know, JMO, he was a bit shaky in his first couple of meetings. But look at him now.
He's
At least 10 points.
Yeah.
At least 10 points a meeting. Norwich Bloodhorn came back first away meeting since he's been away. And he got 11 last night, I think.
He got paid 10, I think. It was 9 plus 1 or something along those lines.
Was it a paid 10, was it? I thought it was paid 11, but either way, it don't matter. It's double figures.
Exactly.
You know, what's his name? Jake
Mulford starting in the points, yeah.
He's clicking on now. He got a 1+1, I think it was.
Yeah.
You know,
deserve more for his effort, I reckon.
Yeah, well, from what I've read on updates and seen on Facebook, his scores don't reflect how he's getting on track. He's like, he was leading at some points in certain races, and then a silly little mistake, and he's down to 4th.
Well, they say it's a big jump from the Championship to the Premiership. People go, "Oh,
National League, wasn't it?"
Yeah, they go, "Oh, there's so many of the same." Yeah, people go like, "Oh, there's so many of the same riders in the Premiership and the Championship," but then you've got Laguta and all the others in the Premiership that you have to race against as well. So it is still a bit of a jump.
Well, yeah, you've got what I call the aliens, the GP riders that come over basically, that wouldn't even entertain a Championship ride realistically, would they?
No. And then there's like Jake thinking, I'd love to go and beat those guys one day. And I think he will. He's got the potential. I think he's going to
get there. I think next season, if he stays on as rising star, like Tom did for 2 years, I think he's going to go, because look how Brennan came on.
Yeah, exactly. He had his best meeting of the season in Ace's colours yesterday. Was it? He got 9 points, I think.
Something like that, yeah. I've saw the scores. I was looking at them before to discuss it, and I've forgotten them all.
I literally logged off like straight from work and jumped straight into this.
Yeah, but everyone's... it worked out really well, though, didn't it? Because everyone was able to take a ride for Brady last night, so it spread it round the team. Oh, Bewley and Charles Wright, you have to do all his rides, so you've got an extra 5 rides between you.
And Charles Wright lowered the colours of Artem Laguta last night.
So I've heard, yes.
In Heat 14, which was like, I was looking at it, I was like, wow. Brown King's in as well, wow.
That's what I said to you though this morning, wasn't it? It seems like the boys like King's Lynn this year.
I think it's set up quite slick from what Jason Edwards was telling us a few episodes back. The King's Lynn track keeps being set up quite slick so far this season, and they're trying to get it right. Sounds a bit like the story we keep being told at Birmingham, to be honest, because the track's quite slick there as well this year. But yeah, sometimes having a slick track caters to the best gators, as to everywhere.
Yeah, because Bellevue starts off quite slick, doesn't it? And then it gets that thick dirt line around the outside.
Yeah.
That Brady and Dan like to just sit in.
Yeah. I think the shape of the track's got something to do with that as well, doesn't it? The way it starts off slick and then the dirt line builds up because of the banking around the bends.
Yeah. Yeah, and down the back straight as well, there's a nice chunky dirt line that builds up down there.
It's good. They don't call it the best track in the UK for nothing.
And I'm privileged to get to watch the guys on it every week or whenever they race, obviously.
I wish I could get there more often.
I think the Aces are going top guns, and the Colts don't seem to be far behind, to be honest. The away form needs a bit of work, but the home form's pretty much untouchable, isn't it?
They snagged the bonus point at Mildenhall the other day.
Yeah.
Which is good, which is what you want when you go away. If you're at home first and then you go away in the second leg, you want to the aim is to try and snag the bonus point.
But is that because we set such a high score at the NSS and they weren't able to match it. So obviously the aggregate score, and we snagged a point on it.
Probably, because was it was Ipswich Leicester last night, wasn't it? And Ipswich won by quite a big margin at their place against. Or was it a big margin? I can't remember, but it was a margin, and Leicester managed to just wipe that out last night, and they got all 3 points. So,
oh wow!
People go, the bonus point system caters to the stronger teams. It's sort of yes and no, because it depends how riders are on the night. Because somebody can have an off night, and then it can just go out the window, can't it?
Yeah, it's like every rider always says: you can only ride what's in front of you and who's next to you on that start line.
Exactly.
You know, you can only race them 3 blokes that are beside you. It doesn't matter what the score is, what track you're on. It's at the end of the day, it's between you and 3 other blokes to get to the tape first, or get to the flags first.
Whichever way you're gonna do it.
Yeah, it's like James said, wasn't it? You know, if you're not first, you're last at the end of the day. So
James Pearson's got a good attitude. I like his attitude towards it.
Yeah.
But he needs to stop beating himself up so much when he doesn't win, because it's keeping that balance. It's like, oh, I only came third, but you still got a point and you still gained a point for the team. So it's sort of like balancing out, oh, I didn't win, but oh, I did get points as well. It's sort of like having a positive mentality right the way through.
Yeah, this is it, though. He's only young, isn't he? He's still got that fire in his belly where he wants to be first every race.
This is true.
As lots of the young riders do. They just want to be at the front of that leading group.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see James go far. There's a couple of riders I'd like to see go quite far.
There's a few in the National League that I think have the potential to possibly reach Premiership and above.
Definitely. Trying to think of one name. Well, we've mentioned James. Is it that Sam Hagan that also rides for the Colts? I reckon he's going to do well.
I think he's got the possibility to go good, yeah.
Isn't he at number 1 currently for the Colts?
Do you know what? I haven't seen the new averages.
I think I saw the averages the other week, and it was like, Sam Hagan's at number 1. Bloody hell.
Yeah, no, I've not seen the reshuffle of the team order recently, I'll be completely honest.
Just drop Alfie a message.
But I wouldn't be shocked if he is, because he had a good night against Millwall the other night, didn't he?
Yeah, true. Although Sam Hagan, I think he rode for them last season.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Possibly, maybe.
I have to double check that, but I think he's...
It's so confusing, isn't it? How they all, like, they're not really on, like, you know, in football or hockey, you get put on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 year contract.
Yeah.
A lot of speedway riders, it's literally season by season, isn't it?
Yeah.
So in 7 years, you could ride for all 7 Premiership clubs, potentially.
Yeah, but it's like when Bon Harris did the commentary at Birmingham a couple of weeks back with Ian Brandon on BSN, and he's like, "Oh, I'd love to try and ride for every team in British Speedway one season." And I was thinking, "You'd love to ride in the National League as well." And I was like, "Okay, each to the he'd be unstoppable in the National League. He'd go out and get an 18-point maximum."
You know, once you hit a certain age, though, you're not going to be as sharp and whatever, are you? You're going to start declining.
Yeah.
So maybe it would be worth dropping back to the National League.
Maybe just for a meeting or 2.
Yeah.
I do know one thing: he'd put bums on seats in National League racing.
Oh, I reckon he would, yeah.
Definitely. He'd put bums on seats in National League racing. But yeah. So any other? Should we go over results quick? from the last couple of days. Last night, obviously, Bellevue won at Kings Lynn. Was it 49-41?
Yes.
Bellevue's favour in the end. And then Wolves went to Sheffield in the first leg of their KO Cup clash. And I think Sheffield won 52-38. They got quite a few 5-1s in the last couple of races just to put it out of Wolves' reach. So hopefully that Wolves out of the game.
I believe it was somewhere around there score-wise, yeah.
And then Leicester beat Ipswich. I think that was 50. The scoreline was somewhat along the 50-30 mark as well. But on Wolves, maybe, I don't know when the second leg's supposed to be for that, but I don't see them pulling that back, to be honest. Even at Monmouth Green for the second leg, I don't know.
It all depends on which Wolves team turn up, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is true. They did give them a good battle last night until the last few races.
Because look what they did at Bellevue the other day. Last year, Bellevue beat Wolves every fixture comfortably by like 15 to 20 points. They took us to a superheat on Bank Holiday.
Yeah. So that's the difference. They don't seem to go as well during like afternoon meetings, which is a bit weird, I've noticed. Well, the Leicester meeting was a different one, but against Wolves on Bank Holidays, Mondays in the afternoon fixtures, they don't seem to go as well, which is confusing to me. But I don't know, maybe it's because the track gets dusty pretty quick or something.
You on about Bellevue?
Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to some of the other fans, and they say it's because of the difference in the track, because obviously middle of the day it's hotter, so it dries out quicker.
Yeah.
And
I suppose it's balancing water in it and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, and they don't have as much time to prep for the meeting, because normally they've got from like 8 o'clock in the morning till half an hour before tapes. The tractors are still going round. So you're talking 11, 12 hours worth of work that can be done.
Yeah, so it's constantly being turned over and they're constantly putting water in the base and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and then mixing it up again and then more water on. But for the lunchtime meetings, they've got 3 hours realistically. Maybe 3.5.
Bit of a difference, yeah. Bit of a difference.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they do work on it the day before, but overnight it dries out or whatever, so it's
so it depends how like warm it is overnight and what the temperature's like during the day, because the last one it was quite warm, wasn't it? So it dried out pretty fast.
It did, yeah. So I suppose, obviously I'm no track curator, but I'm guessing that's what it's down to. It's just not enough prep time pre-meeting, basically.
We'll have to see if we can source a track curator to come on and talk to us about that.
Well, I have spoke to Bellevue's one, Andy Meredith, and he said if he can find an hour, then he'll try. But if you can get hold of one also, that'd be good.
I don't know the guy very well at Birmingham, otherwise I'd ask.
Yeah.
Give Alfie a message. I bet he's driving.
Probably.
Yeah, well, I've dropped him a message. It's he'll probably call me when he gets there, and it'll be like, well, we recorded half an hour. But yeah.
No, it's a bizarre season, especially with regards to like Peterborough.
Yeah.
With the whole Pedersen situation, and he's in, he's out, he's gone.
Supposedly there's another Russian rider coming in, or neutral rider now.
I did see something about that on social media this morning. Apparently it got posted by British Speedway Network.
Yeah, Vadim Tarasenko.
Yes, they grabbed the Peterborough Post, didn't they? And they shared it, and then all of a sudden the Peterborough Post disappeared.
Maybe because they're waiting on visa clearance or something. But I've heard Rowan Tungate's coming back as well.
Yes, I heard his name thrown about.
Again, there's another big name that doesn't ride over it very often. He rode for Aces a few years back, didn't he?
I was just going to say he was one of the aces, one of the Aussie aces a couple of years back. Who did he ride for last year?
Ipswich.
Was he at the Witches last season?
Yeah, he came in before the deadline as an injury replacement. If I remember.
Okay. Yeah, because I knew he was riding last year for a team. Because I was like, oh, he used to be a Bellevue rider.
Because I think he was riding for Ipswich during the playoff semi-final last year at Bellevue and at Ipswich.
Yeah, it does sound familiar. I think he might have come in a bit before the playoffs, though.
Yeah, I think it was definitely before the cut-off date.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like him. He's a good rider. Yeah. I've met him once or twice. Okay, he's not a very talkative rider, though.
Oh, so he's not a Ty Woofenden.
Yeah. Himself to himself. Because who was it? I met him at the GP Challenge last year at Glasgow, and he signed my program and then walked away. And I was like, oh, okay, you probably got shit going on and everything, so you're like, I'll leave you to it. But yeah,
that's it. Oh, you just don't peck their heads.
No, because if you annoy people, then you know.
Yeah, was it before the meeting or during?
Yeah, it was beforehand.
So he was probably trying to get into the headspace for the meeting, then, wasn't he?
Because we thought we weren't going to be allowed in at the time, but then they said, "Oh, the pits are open," and we're like, "The pits are open!"
Right.
We all dashed round. So I met Anders Thompson, Jack Holder, Rowan Tongate, Dan Bewley, and Robert Lambert.
Ah, cool.
Because for FIM meetings, the pits tend to be closed off, and they tend to keep the riders away. So you're like, well, that's just a novelty, being able to go and get in quick.
Well, you'd expect that though with an FIM meeting because.
Yeah, true.
It's the likes of your Lamberts, your Bewleys, your Tungates, your Holders, your Thompsons, like you just mentioned. You know, they're not lower end of the scale, are they? Basically,
yeah, they're quite high up. They're like GP riders and stuff.
Well, yeah, because they're trying to get into the GP series, aren't they? So,
I think it did help that we had Lynn with us and that it was at Glasgow.
Oh, old Hot Wheels.
Good old friend of the podcast, Lynn.
Yeah. Yeah, she probably buttered everyone up.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It's what you want, though, isn't it?
Definitely. Just I think. Hang on, let me stop recording a minute. Good morning, thanks for joining me. How are you today?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Lovely and sunny, so happy days.
Yeah, I'm going out in a bit. I hope it doesn't get too warm. I'm not a massive fan of hot weather. Yeah, so we'll jump into some questions and then we'll have a bit of a chat. Hope that's okay.
All good.
So first question I've got for you: how did you get into Speedway originally?
I actually went to a go-kart track at Rye House, and then heard the speedo bikes going on, and then had a little nose over there, and next thing you know, I was trying it out. So yeah, it was a pretty mad experience, just by luck, I guess.
Oh, that's good. What's your favourite part about being a rider?
Favourite part about being a rider. Bloody hell, favourite part. Just getting to ride your bike. Riding your bike is the favourite part. It's all the other bits that come with it. It's the hard part.
Yeah, I like cleaning them and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Cleaning and travelling is a bit repetitive, but the riding part never gets old.
Oh, that's good. This is going to be a bit of a tough one. Which club out of the clubs you've ridden for has been your favourite and why?
Oh, Birmingham, because I'm riding for him at the minute.
Nice.
Yeah.
How do you think your season's going so far?
Yeah, no, I'm sure I've had a pretty solid start to the season. Didn't have the best of nights last night, but no, I'm happy with how it's all going. Considering I'm coming back from injury and stuff like that, so no, I'm really happy.
That's good. You've been awarded Fans Rider of the Month twice so far this season, so whatever you're doing seems to be working, which is good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, really grateful for that. It's I'm pretty I'm over the moon with that, to be honest. It's well happy with that.
That's good. Oh, what do you think you'd be doing if you weren't a rider?
Well, I'm a plumber as well, so I'll probably just be doing plumbing, to be honest. So yeah, luckily I can do a bit of speedway as well, so it's good. But yeah, it's not ideal. It's not fun.
I can imagine trying to balance the two isn't easy.
Yeah, it's all about balance, isn't it? It's not easy, but you just got to make it work, and you've got to remember speedway's only for like 7-8 months of the year, so it's only busy for like 6-7 months. So it's yeah, you just got to deal with it as it comes and enjoy the ride.
Have you? I saw the result last night. Have you got any comments on how it went or how it could have gone better?
Yeah, definitely could. It's just a hard place to go, and obviously with our team at the minute, we're all no one's particularly firing better than everyone else. It's just struggling at the minute to get a good bond going. So I don't know. Hopefully it can only get better. See how. I don't know. It's just hard one really. Scunthorpe is a hard place to go, but they're beating us by such a small, not on the track, such a small margin. But I don't know. You just got to deal with it and take it meeting by meeting. Hopefully it will only get better.
Let's hope so. Go to meal or snack before a meeting.
Say that again, sorry.
Go to meal or snack before a meeting.
Pack of jelly babies usually.
Nice.
Yeah.
But that's all the questions I've got. Usually Nick would pipe in with a few as well, but that's all I've got.
All right. Yeah. No dramas. No
I know it was short and sweet, but yeah.
No worries. But if you ever need a chat anytime soon, just give me a shout. No worries.
Will do. Thanks for joining me this morning. I hope your season, the rest of your season goes well, and I'll see you at Perry Bar on the 21st.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll catch you soon.
See you later.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you later. You've just finished listening to another episode of the Trot the Clutch podcast. Thanks for listening. We appreciate the support. Have a good week, and we'll catch you on the next one.